One of the most exciting moments each year at the University of South Carolina Upstate is the announcement of our Alumni Awards. In the 55 years since the university's founding, USC Upstate has graduated more than 30,000 students. This year, we recognize 4 outstanding alumni. Their stories are the stories of today's students. 40% of our students come from household incomes of $40,000 or less. 31% of our freshmen are the first generations in their families to attend college. Each of this year's Alumni Award recipient was a first-generation student, a non-traditional student, or a transfer student. Each worked their way through college, overcame challenges, and embraced the rich resources our campus provides. But their USC Upstate story did not end when they graduated. As alumni, they recognized the need to support the alma mater that gave them so many opportunities. They serve on our boards, guest lecture frequently in our classes, advise student organizations, actively advocate for USC Upstate, contribute financially, and proudly wear their Spartan colors. In essence, they are walking advertisements for the university throughout the region and across the state. Our alumni provide the foundation for the success of USC Upstate. They illustrate the value of degrees earned here. Their success is the university's success, and we are proud of our Alumni Award recipients for 2022.
I met Brooke after I moved back home 4 years ago and started New South. She was working with the Chamber, and I got to see a lot of her incredible work before she came on to partner with New South. She is such a pleasure to work with, and it can be rocket fast, and the work piles up, and you're constantly kind of swimming to keep up with all of it, and her attitude stays so positive, and her efficiency allows us to work harder and smarter at the same time. From a personal and professional standpoint, there's no one else I'd rather be doing the work with. Brooke's connection to the Upstate Graphic Design program has been integral in how she accesses and implements her own design strategy. I have nearly 20 years of professional marketing and design behind me, and I can say she's one of the smartest designers I've ever worked with. She's incredibly efficient, and she understands our clients. And that is a huge gift when you're working with smaller organizations, particularly in the nonprofit field. But I think she is also just an incredible problem solver. And I know some of those tools were learned through her career at USC Upstate, and we watch her implement them every day here in our community. Brooke is deserving of this Young Alumni Award because she is an exemplary part of this community. It really is incredible the impact she's had over the last 10 years. The Spartanburg community is at its best when it's working through partnerships, and nobody does that better than Brooke. Her impact is really shown in the reach and awareness that she has with the campaigns she designs. There's longevity to them, from One Spartanburg to PAL, Play, Advocate, Live Well, to a range of other clients. And she's taking the Upstate name out into our state beyond Spartanburg. We work with clients across South Carolina, and they're really seeing the impact of her work throughout the state. And I think that is an incredible thing because it all started with her learning and her schooling at USC Upstate.
I was a first-generation college student in my family. USC Upstate has a very affordable tuition, and I was a low-income family, and I was very fortunate to go to USC Upstate with a scholarship and a FAFSA and obtain my degree for free. And I don't think a lot of people can say that. So without that, I got to start at a level playing field and start with a leg up. I work with New South, and I'm the lead designer. And we also have developed Spartanburg Gives, which is a for-benefit corporation for nonprofits in the Spartanburg area. My major was graphic design, so I have a BFA in graphic design. And so not only was my bachelor's in fine arts and graphic design instrumental in my career, but also a few of the other classes that I took at USC Upstate, like women and gender studies, African American art history, and environmental science. Recently, in the last year, I got to partner with the city of Spartanburg with their Southside mural and their fundraising efforts. So it's really exciting to see things that I've learned and then see history and art come to life together to celebrate those who have made a really big impact and kind of led the way for success for those in the Southside area. Currently, we have initiated Upstate Studio, which is the graphic design students, so that they can have a opportunity to work within the community and see real impact. It just makes you feel good to work for nonprofits, and hopefully it will inspire them to stay in their community and work in their community and be prideful of it like I am. Thank you for awarding me with the 2022 USC Upstate Young Alumni Award.
London was a wonderful student in 4 of my courses. She's one of those front row students who is prepared to participate in class discussions, ask questions. Her hand would always go like way up, and to ask the questions, any questions? And then London also made use of my office hours. And so she would come and sit and talk about the coursework. And among my favorite discussions with her was the time that she came in to ask for advice on how to help one of her classmates, a very introverted student, be successful in her group assignments, achieve a sense of belonging in the group, and also to help her with her intense fear of public speaking. As the group leader, what she did was she met with the student before class. I'd be walking into the classroom and she'd be sitting on the floor, sometimes on the couch with the student, and they would be reviewing the group assignments, course materials, and sometimes just sitting there socializing. And as a result of that, she helped her classmate feel really appreciated and valued. And that's the sign of a true leader. And so as a result of her nurturing of this student, I'm choking up because she was very good. As a result of her nurturing, this student presented beautifully. Every member of her group presented the information efficiently, effectively, and with confidence. So it was of course an A. London took her communication courses very seriously, and she understood that the value of taking her education serious would result in her being able to think critically about all kinds of issues, but also to apply practical skills to her personal and professional life. I know that she was a rock star, so that's why I nominated her.
I'm an integrated digital specialist for WSBA's 7 News and Nexstar Media Group, and I manage the Nexstar Digital ad revenue for our account executive sales team. I graduated in December of 2016 at USC Upstate, and then I started here in 2017. I'm born and raised here in Spartanburg, and when I graduated from high school, I wanted to leave. And I started at USC Columbia, but life brought me back to Spartanburg, so I was a transfer student. I really found my community and my place at USC Upstate, and I also changed my major too, so I was brand new to the communications department. Carolina was such a mentor to me. Being able to have that one-on-one time with professors is huge. And it really helped me succeed at USC Upstate. Well, I use all of the skills that I learned in the communication department in my everyday life and in my career. I credit so much of that success to the education that I had, and so I'm really passionate about talking to the students, saying that everything that you're learning now pays off. Part of my job is being able to build meaningful business-client relationships. So having that connection with USC Upstate, actually Donette Stewart reached out to one of our account executives for a marketing plan. It was a big deal that, I'm putting together the strategy, and I'm also an alum, and I love USC Upstate. I'm honored to be recognized as the 2022 Young Alumni Award recipient.
Dion and I met back in 2017. We actually served together on the executive board with the Spartanburg Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She was the president, I was the first vice president, so we had to get to know each other very, very well. For the first time of us even being together, we had to travel across the country. We knew nothing about one another, nothing at all. So it was a big get to know you session between me and her, and the friendship has just blossomed throughout the years. People can learn from Dion just by watching her actions. She's always a motivator. She's always providing support for others. Dion is an excellent representation of what others, especially those going into the education field, should want to be. And so people can look up to her because it's always good to give back, because you never know where someone is and where they're going. You never know how you can play a part in that role. And I can say that Dion has played a part in that role for where I am today as myself. Dion is a family-oriented person. Even though she's very, very far away from her family, she never misses a beat. Throughout these last few months, it's been a little bit trying. It's been a little tough, and she's made it through. She's overcome. She's definitely made it through because it's been difficult, and I appreciate what she's done for herself, for her family, for the Spartanburg Alumni chapter, for the Xi Iota chapter at USC Upstate, and just for anyone that she comes in contact with. I mean, her students are her pride and joy. I get a story about them every single time that we speak. So, I just definitely do appreciate what Dion brings to my life, what Dion brings to her students' life, and what she brings to the University of South Carolina at Upstate.
I am a District 7 teacher here in Spartanburg County 7, and currently I am at Jesse Boyd Elementary. I serve as an Odyssey teacher here. I am the first African American Odyssey teacher in this position on the elementary level, and we service students which are gifted and talented all across the district. Odyssey has different levels. There's Odyssey 1, Odyssey 2, and Odyssey 3 level. With Odyssey 1 and 2, that's on the elementary level, and before me, there was never an African American teacher that served in that capacity, so I will be the first one. When I first came to Upstate, I have to say that I was terrified because I come from a very small area in Horry County, and Upstate was just amazingly huge to me, and it's crazy because now it's even bigger. Once I got there, I got involved with the gospel choir. I got involved in the TRIO program, Opportunity Network. I pledged a sorority, and the list goes on and on. I became very involved, and I was able to just travel within the program, and it really just opened my eyes to so many things that I wouldn't have seen at another institution. I truly was blessed to be in the School of Education at Upstate. It was an amazing experience. The professors pushed us, they motivated us, and I feel like they were the foundation of the educator that I am today. We should be proud of where we came from. Upstate is an amazing university. It's giving so many opportunities for people like myself to just do greater things in the community. Being nominated as an outstanding alumni is a humbling experience, and I honestly am just so full and just so blessed that I was given the opportunity to be nominated. It totally means that my life has come full circle with me beginning at Upstate and now winning this award, so I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, USC Upstate, for recognizing me as the 2022 Outstanding Alumni Award recipient.
We met in 1986 or 87. We were teaching school together at St. Paul the Apostle Catholic School. She was teaching English and I was teaching social studies. That's when we met that many years ago. And she was only there for a year, but there was something about Cindy that in our relationship that carried on all these years. Upstate has the most caring faculty and administration. It is there for people that have never been to college, their families have never been to college. It's there for the non-traditional person, and that was Cindy. Cindy was non-traditional. She went out there as a non-traditional student, a mother with a child, got her degree, and ended up flourishing here in the city of Spartanburg as a professional banker, as in finance and in education, and the community work that she has done through the years is second to none. That's what Upstate's about. She's the epitome of it. I mean, Cindy's been the president of the Kiwanis. I don't know how many pancake tickets I bought from her through the years. She was the state president of Business and Professional Women's Club. Anybody at Upstate today knowing that Cindy Waters is a graduate of that institution is proud, and can't think of anybody better for the Distinguished Alumni Award for that reason. She does work for Upstate every day just because of the person she is.
I'm currently a commercial lender at Park National Bank. When I first graduated from Upstate, and back then it was USC Spartanburg, I worked for 4 years at DR Hill Middle School. I taught reading and language arts there in 7th grade. And then my last year of teaching, because I only taught for 5 years, was at St. Paul Catholic School, which is where I met Kathy. I actually became an Edward Jones broker. I took the Series 7. I tell people I still took it when it was taken on paper, and I passed it the first time because of my education background and because I was the Jones broker, so finance. I was able to take on that role as the training director for the Upstate for C&S Bank. I actually started at the College of Charleston, and my husband and I were living in Charleston at the time. My husband grew up in Inman, so he wanted to get back home. So when we came back up, I actually took a semester at Wofford, but then after that, I found my spot at Upstate. I had some very good professors. Some of my favorite ones were Dr. Fred Moore, who was my English professor, and Dr. Nancy Moore, who was also my English professor. Dr. Virginia Collins, who was my music professor. Dr. John Wilson was a wonderful history professor. He just made history come to life. And I loved history anyway, but I loved having his classes. There were only 5 buildings when I was on campus, and the Hodge Center at that time was where the food service was. They had the best chocolate-covered, cream-filled donuts. Then we'd go over there and, get a donut and hang out. So that's a good memory. During that first year, we had a daughter who was my best friend, other than Kathy, today. I was a parent and a wife and mother, and my husband and I are still together, so we survived it. It's very humbling. There are a lot of people who have had this award before me that I think probably were more deserving, but it makes me feel good that somebody, recognizes what I have done and what I can do. Thank you for naming me the 2022 Distinguished Alumni Award recipient.